Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Bone Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto market. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Memecoins, and of course, NFTs. Jam-packed show today. Really excited. We're going to talk about Bitcoin's run at 100K. Broke 80K or 98K overnight. We're cooking. We're going to talk about all the drama around the Chill Guy token. The artist firing back a little bit. I don't know if he's going to win that battle. And we're going to talk about all of the current Memecoin metas, all the cooks we've been having in the Bodogos Discord. Kix has been active in there. Signal's been lurking. We're going to talk about it all, break it all down, break down some interesting plays from this morning as well. Signal, Kix, we're going to have a couple little three-way shows here with us next couple days. Really excited for it. How you guys feeling today? How you feeling today, Sig?
I'm good, man. Last time we had a three-way show, that was just before the market absolutely cooked. Remember, that was when the guys just went up to Japan, and then that was the time to allocate some meme coins, and then the market absolutely sent. I'm feeling good, Ray. Gotta say, I feel FOMO. I feel like I keep missing everything. I don't know. We've seen a lot of pullbacks on the major meme coins. Like the large caps, mid caps, I mean, they're still up over the 7-day, but they have pulled back a bit over the last 24 hours. We've seen Bitcoin going up a bit, but the trenches have been absolutely cooking. So it just seems as if, we are in serious, off-piece season. Take all the risks that you want to take. But stuff is cooking so fast and reaching numbers way faster than I anticipated. Like Chill Guy, for example, I think when we spoke about it yesterday, it was just, I think my morning when I woke up yesterday and saw it, it was like 200 million when we were talking about it. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I totally forget time now. And then touched like 560. And now just because of this whole artist intervention, it's now sort of hovering around that 360 last time I looked about an hour ago. So things are just cooking so much faster. And I have a lot of FOMO and I'm trying not to chase.
Yeah, this has been just ranging here. We're going to talk about this a little later in the show, but some crazy price action leading up to here. We've just been chopping in this range for a bit. Kix, I've seen you active in the Discord, absolutely cooking. I followed you in a number of plays. Have you just been doing mainly meme coin trenches over this week, or have you been getting into anything else?
Well, I mean, more so than meme coin trenches, I've tried to. Because it's what do you define the trenches as, right? Like Bull X, right? Because looking for things to buy, I'm also looking at just coins and narratives in general. Like my buddy Darren mentioned this coin on Base called Anon, and essentially they use Farcaster and ZK proofs to allow people to pay the token and anonymously post to the Warpcast Twitter, essentially.
Did you buy that when Darren posted at sub 1 mil?
I thought, man, if he posted at sub 1 mil, that's great. I saw it when he posted at 12 or 14.
Yeah, Vitalik bought overnight.
Huh?
Vitalik bought overnight and sent that cooking.
What's it at?
52.
Damn, that's sick.
52. Yeah, absolute cook. Yeah, I saw I think somebody shared one of Darren's tweets, and I think it was maybe it wasn't 1 million, maybe it was closer to 3 or 4, but I think it was a couple days ago in this range.
Yeah, I saw it 2 days ago, and so I bought some. I may have locally top bought a little bit, but looks like that trade's working out really fucking well. But anyways, yeah. So I'm willing to trade all sorts of things. I'm not just sitting on Bull X. I do feel like Bull X, it gives you a great idea of what's trending or what will be trending. So I was interested in this Anon token because it's it reminded me of some of the things that were being done with the AI stuff on Solana. The trenches are fun, dude. But I mean, they can be brutal. You have to have a really strong mentality to trade in there. But I think it's so much fun. It's actually addicting because of how hard it is for me personally. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'm a little pissed off because last night I fucking traded on my phone, which you're never supposed to do. And I just evaporated 10 SOL. Then I woke up this morning, this stupid fucking dev that I thought was building something cool just straight rugged it. So I went into the Telegram and I told him that he's going to be haunted for the rest of his life and all of his future children are cursed. So I got that out of my system. And then I went and I bought Saint at 700K.
No.
Let's
but
go.
I bought it on my fucking mobile phone. So
no.
it fucking like trimmed me on the way up. So I didn't make nearly as much as I should have. Because my wife's at Pilates, happy wife, happy life. So I can't get to the desktop with the fast ass clicking. But hey, I made a little bag, so can't complain.
Yeah, I bought Saint this morning. I caught it late. I caught it at 3.3 mil, and I trimmed off at this kind of like local top at 12. So if I held up, we'd be sitting pretty. But sold my complete bag around 12, and now we're already up to like 20. So I'm just completely
Did you
out.
buy Saint, Ray, because you faded Luce? We all know how Luce did.
Honestly, I bought Saint because Luce, like if Luce didn't exist, I don't think I would have had the conviction to put the size in the Saint that I did. But seeing as that people do care about like this religious meta, I was like, okay, well, this thing, there was definitely some PvP. There was like 2 or 3 tokens that were like kind of fighting. This one seemed to be like the clear leader early. And my thesis on it was, if this wins the PvP battle, it's running straight to 10 million, and like basically played out perfectly. Looking at Luce at like 160 mil, like I don't know, like if this is too hot now at 12 or sorry at 20. I don't know what the correct ratio should be, and like I think you just throw ratios out the window.
Yeah, it really depends on like how people frame these things and how people kind of like shill the narrative. Like they're saying that he's the first digital saint. What I'm unsure of is whether like the Pope fucking said that verbatim, or if he said he's like the first saint of the digital era, right? Not like the patron saint of the internet, right? If this guy's the patron saint of the internet, then this thing probably should go to 1 billion.
Dude, we need that, Kicks. Even if he didn't say that, we do need that, because that is a job role that needs to be filled. The first,
so they're calling the first digital saint. I mean, I think it's like a stronger narrative than Lucy, to be honest with you, which is just like a mascot.
Yeah, I mean, mascots are for a year, saints are forever, right?
Yeah, kind of, Ray, kind of. No, but I like this. I like seeing that these that this meta is still going strong. It just goes to show how the news event based memes are still running as strong as anything on TikTok or anything which is sort of AI related. So it's just kind of about playing in your lane, which I'm really enjoying. But I did miss Cook. Cook. There was also one called Cook. I did miss Saint this morning, which I should have got into. Man, you need to ping me, Ray. Can you just like direct DM me? Come on. I gave you 20 mil.
I only have so many hands. I shared my thesis in the Bodogas Discord at 2.5. I said, I'm top blasting this. I don't care. It's going to 10 if it wins. And then like I was buying.
Yeah, I mean, here's like the whole backstory to this too. When I first hopped in this morning, there was another token for this guy at 3 million. This one hadn't even come out of migration, the winner, right? But the other one was called CA and called him Saint Carlos, not Saint Carlo. And so then this other one came out, this one that's now the winner, came out with a better image, a better ticker, because the ticker was CA, this ticker Saint, which is undeniably better, and got the name right? So what's really interesting is with these news-based things is you have to, there's always going to be multiple that come out for anything significant. And one of the biggest skills that you can have is picking the one that will be the winner, because it's often not the first one. And so, for example, I went in and I bought this and got stopped out for a little bit of loss, but look how high it went. It went to 6 million, right? And then the second one ended up being the winner. The same thing happens with backed, right? Like 2 backs came out. There was another one last night around the Wasabi rocket, Elon's Wabasabi rocket or whatever. There was 2 that came out, right? The first one that came out didn't have an image, and the ticker and the name was the Japanese characters. Another one came out with a rocket as the picture, with Wabasabi as the name, and sorry, Wabi-Sabi is the ticker and the Chinese or the Japanese characters as the name. And that one ended up winning. Right. So
this can't be right.
No. It may be called wasabi because Americans are, fucking dumb.
When did you kicks? So for Saint, when did you realize that the first one was the loser and the second one was going to be the winner?
I honestly didn't even know that's what was going to happen. I just saw the second one come out and it was cheap and it looked good, so I bought it just thinking hey, I'll see what this ends up doing. And but see, that's part of the problem, right? Is but I knew the second one was going to end up winning when the first one tanked. And sometimes what will happen is when another one comes out, they'll one of them will tank and the other one will surge, but then the other one will catch a bid. The other one didn't catch a bid. It just went straight down to 300K, and this one kept getting bidded up. So it was obviously chosen as the winner. The tough thing is when you're in stream with that and the market hasn't validated that, and you're buying one of them to then have the conviction to hold, right? Because I threw in a soul at 700K. And if I had my desktop stop losses, it would have been, or stop limits, it would have been much better. But yeah, it's not always clear until it's clear, right? It's hindsight's 2020. Then when this thing's, but I mean, once this thing got to 6 million, it was clear. So at that point, this one was the guaranteed winner at 6 million, and you could have just aped it.
Oh, Kicks, we lost you.
Might be losing you there for a second.
It's a bit of his
I muted out maybe a little too quick.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I said if you were bullish then on the narrative going farther, which it is, once again, if these guys push it as the digital Saint, maybe it could send to 100 million.
Yeah, and we'll dive deeper into these meme coins and the meta. We had a big meta yesterday. We had a lot of action on Chill Guy, TikTok, retail, all of that. But we'll get into that after the weather report. Sig, you ready to kick off this weather report?
Yeah, absolutely, Ray. Let's get into the weather report today for Thursday, November 21st. Looking at that crypto roundup, the majors are pumped. It is green everywhere with Bitcoin just shy of 98K. People are calling for 100K by the end of the day. Ethereum is just over 3,300. It's good to see Ethereum getting a little bit more fitter. And Solana, everyone's just waiting for it to break 250. It hasn't. It's at 247, but still looking green. The leading top 100 coin was MOG, as that is up 25% on the day to a 1.1 billion market cap. Over the past 24 hours, top three stories were firstly, Bitcoin broke 98K and hit an all-time new high this morning. In doing so, it became the number 7 global asset by market cap. It has now surpassed the Saudi Aramco fund. Next up, Bybit has listed Chill Guy meme coin for perps trading as the original artist threatened takedowns. This came as the token appeared near the top of suggested searches on Google. And then finally, check your wallet. Wallets that pre-ordered Solana mobile Seeker phone received airdrops of the happy and grumpy tokens worth about $100. If you look back, that's what happened with Bonk. Anyway, the Solana phone continues to be the gift that keeps on giving through this bull run. That is all for the weather report. It is back to you folks in the studio.
Excellent weather report, Sig, as always. I just looked at the Philip Banks Twitter. That's the artist behind it, and I realized he went on private. He came out of private for a little bit, and then he went back on private. So I tried to bring up the tweet that he sent out, and it was now blocked. So he has.
What did the tweet say?
It was basically saying that he was going to be taking down, issuing takedowns for his Chill Guy art. So people are speculating that it's going to prevent centralized exchange listings for Chill Guy, because they're going to have legal issues with his art on their platform. I don't know what you guys think about this or how much you saw of this. But he was just saying he's been harassed. He can't use Twitter anymore because his notifications are just popping up everywhere. People saying they are up or down on his meme coin. But it seems like he's fighting against it. And And
they always do at the beginning, Ray. They always do until they come to the other side. I think it's funny because we saw this happen with NFTs as well during the bull run. I'm sure, Kix, you can remember the collections, but I definitely remember IP being appropriated for NFT collections and artists stepping in and saying, you can't do that with my art. And we would see this massive sell-off, just like we've seen with Chill Guy. And then somehow along the way, things get fixed, and then those NFT collections regain resurgence again. I can't remember specific names, unfortunately, at this time, but this happened definitely 3, 4, 5, 6 times during the NFT bull run. I mean, for these guys, it's like whack-a-mole. You're trying to do cease and desist on something which is water. It'll be very difficult for the artist to do this, I think. Obviously, that what can happen is that the value can be ported somewhere else. So maybe the original token could go to 0, and then it goes to another token. But the actual meme is not going to go away. So I think the artist, unfortunately, here is, I think, fighting a losing battle. But then again, he might know nothing about crypto. So I mean, it's really hard. It's a really hard, tricky position to be in. I understand him going on private, but I don't see this going away in the next 24 to 48 hours. But I could see another token absorbing the value. But let's see.
See, real quick side tangent, then I want to address what Signal said. They're pumping AI Jesus right now. Remember on the stream yesterday, we talked about AI Jesus. They've now sent that to 2 million, little paired trade with the Saint himself. But to Signal's point, I completely agree. What I was thinking is the biggest brain move this artist could do, which would piss off all the people he hates that made him go on private, make him rich, would be for him to launch his own Chill Guy token. That would be legendary, because then the original one would dump to Hades. His would fucking full send. He'd be worth millions.
Yeah, release an NFT project.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Second of all, Signal's right. I mean, we saw this drama with Pepe, even with Matt Fury, right? There was drama over use of that, even with the tokens. And some speculated maybe that's why Pepe struggled a little bit to get on some exchanges, although they are on Coinbase now. I do think it kind of sucks for you to create something, someone to take your work and then make millions off of it, and you don't get anything. So I think, he should set up a fucking an address and say, if you made money off of this, donate to me. And he'd probably rake in thousands of dollars. Maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. So
yeah, so the Twitter account for the Chill Guy, they set up a donation wallet.
Yeah, that guy's probably going to scam that.
Yeah, I agree. So right now, looking at it, it's got 180K of Chill Guy, 41K worth of Phillip. It's got some FWOG, some USDC. Interesting to see. I'm going to follow this wallet to see if it does take action and does anything weird. But I wonder what it takes to if he has any chance of converting, or if it just
converting to like the space that stole his art,
or just
here's the thing, artists in general really don't like this shit, dude.
No, they really don't
it's a rarity. Like an NFT art, it's a rarity.
You don't think
this guy,
his art being spread around to everywhere is not net positive for him. I
don't think he probably doesn't view it like that, because he wasn't being credited. And that must be the most frustrating part, is that no one has credited him along the meteoric rise of this meme, which has basically happened in the past week. So I imagine from his point of view, and we don't know how much this artist even knows about what's happening in this space. So if he's just somebody who was completely outside of crypto, and you're just seeing your work being proliferated across TikTok, across everything, and now people are capitalizing on it, it must be incredibly frustrating, because it's not like all artists understand what's happening here. And for him to even have the idea that Kix just said, most likely somebody needs to tell him. Because if you know nothing about the space, that is not an idea that just comes floating to your head. So I think from the artist's perspective, I understand why he's going down the cease and desist path, because it would be the normal path that most people would take if they saw their art being ripped off. But hopefully things turn
and
around.
Also, you can't be a bigger loser than to be invested in a token of an artist and then like troll him so hard that he has to go on private. I hope all those people red wick them into bankruptcy.
Yeah, I hate that about crypto Twitter. Like, you don't need to it's not helping you at all to be yelling at people who are making your bags go down.
Yeah, it's
not going to make it go up. It's not going to help
you.
you. Like, take out your frustrations in some other way. Go lift weights. Go for a run. Like, do something productive. Don't just sit here and
exactly. Like when that dev scanned me, and I woke up this morning and it ruined my morning. All I did was very professionally go into the Telegram and I told him that karma would haunt him for the rest of his days and his future children would be cursed. That's it. That's all I said. And then I didn't say anything other than that. Okay. And then I moved on. I did some deep breathing. Let me make sure that's the only thing I said, because I don't want to be a liar. Just in case someone calls me out. Let me see. So, no, I said every night I'll haunt your dreams. So I did actually say one more thing, but then I haven't said anything since. Swear to God. And then I moved on, and that little loser with whatever.
Oh man, I'm gonna get more into meme coins in a minute, but I'm gonna bring up DYDX for a minute here and.
Yeah, just real quick. I think the Saint thing's going to go to 100 million.
Yeah,
today.
awesome. See, I never leave Memecoins. Mistake.
32.
I'll bring that up real quick.
I literally just said at the beginning of the stream that I'm trying not to chase, and you've just literally told me it's at 32, and it feels.
Yeah,
like
you probably shouldn't chase. But if you saw my buys and sells, you'd laugh so hard. Because I literally bought it. I bought it at 700K. My limit 50% sell was at 1.5. And then on my phone, I can't get it. I'm like, I don't know if the other Lucy's pumping or the other one's pumping or whatever. So I'm like, fuck it. I trim my bag at 2.5 or 2.5. Then I tried to go back in at 6, got stopped out. Tried to go back in at 10, got stopped out. And that's one of the things I'm trying to get better at, is there's certain things, and there's almost one of these a day, I swear, where you just need to be like, I'm going to buy it and I'm not going to look at this thing. I'm going to go make breakfast or make lunch and stuff like that. I'm not going to look at the chart, because the chart will make you paper hand it. If you're staring at a chart on a 1 minute, it'll make you paper hand it, right? You just need to walk away. 2 days ago, it was someone the whole D-side biotech stuff is popular. Some guy made a cool picture of the bio text version of Lucy, and that thing sent to 15-20 million. And I remember seeing it at 5 or 6, and I'm like, bump, that's the trade of the day. So if you find the trade of the day, you can definitely send these.
This one's funny. God, first ever dev. Somebody shared this in the comments. I think it's probably been done before, but funny given the meta. I'm gonna bring back we're gonna shift back to the majors here for a minute, because we saw Bitcoin really pop here. Kix, I know you've been talking about looking at the Bollinger Bands. Do you think we're gonna get a bit of a pullback here? I'll go. We're on the 1 day right now, so we're basically as zoomed out as we can be here. Do you think we're primed for a pullback, or do you think this is gonna absolutely rip? I like how you're on the move. We got Kix on the move.
Yeah, give me 1 sec.
Yeah, no, take your time. So I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart here for anyone just listening. We're approaching the top of the Bollinger Bands, and we're looking at the MACD. It's been curling down from a peak on the 13th. We've leveled off a bit, but Bitcoin has now hit a new all-time high. We basically hit 98,457 for the high today. Currently sitting just a little bit over 97K. A lot of people calling for 100K today. That would be absolutely bonkers. I don't know what to think of this. Also interesting is looking at ETH. ETH finally showing some life, up 7%, outperforming Bitcoin on the day. Very large candle, probably the largest daily candle we've had. It'll end up being bigger than the November 6th. And before that, we're looking all the way back until mid-August, early August for an ETH candle of this size. If it closes, up here, It's going for 3,400 right now. Interesting to see ETH showing signs of life on the back of Bitcoin. I don't know exactly why. I mean, is it institutional capital? Is it just a beta play to Bitcoin as more retail is getting into the space? Solana is basically keeping pace with Bitcoin here at 246, also approaching the top of that Bollinger Band, looking the same on the MACD curl for Sol at 246, continuing to show strength. Memecoins continuing to rip. Yesterday, we talked about Solana fees and revenue hitting all-time highs on the day. So looking at majors, like everything seems to be cooking, maybe a bit overcooked. We've been over this moving average on Sol for 2 weeks now, right? Hanging along the top of these Bollinger Bands. I mean, I got a little scared on the 11th, I think, a week ago, and I said, "Easy, I need you to calm me down. Are we gonna like pull back here? Like it seems like we're overcooked," but it seems like that was just complete and utter nonsense on my part. I guess we can continue to cook being in this bull market. Kicks, welcome back.
Sorry about that. Yeah, babysitter came.
Quick little teleport. I like that. Yes,
You know what's the coolest thing about BullX is when you log into it and it doesn't refresh and it tells you how much money you had yesterday, and then it refreshes and then you see the 10 Sol go away after you left your computer. I was up so big yesterday, and I was like, dude, calling it here. Went downstairs, couldn't fucking help myself, dude. On the phone, dude, just trading, dude.
Homeless Flipper comments here. No one on the panel knows why ETH is showing life. LOL, these meme coins get y'all's brain fried. Yeah.
I'm sure it's showing life because they found out how to fix the L2 narrative problem and they're going to put 2 million into marketing. No, here's the thing, dude. Like ETH isn't dead as a platform, but all the ETH activities on base, and that's fine. You know, I actually appreciate that. We should centralize to one L2, aka base, and then people don't have to bridge or anything like that. And then you start to get the DApps that Solana's getting. But also, I'm one of the only probably ETH holders on this show. I don't know anyone else owns ETH.
No,
you got your bag still? You and me, Signal and me are the only ETH maxis. So don't attack us.
I'm not holding any ETH. I'm holding ETH meme coins. I'm holding some NFTs still, but I'm not holding any spot ETH or like leverage ETH exposure. And
I think ETH is the most obvious trade to be holding. I'm sorry, I really think it is, because it's the only other one with an ETF. I just like I know we have the whole L2 narrative, yada yada yada, but I'm just like, guys, where else can TradFi capital flow? I just don't think you need to overthink this. It can go to Bitcoin and it can go to Ethereum. That is it. And we're now approaching 100K Bitcoin, which I think is actually, you know, Ray, last week when you were nervous, I'm not nervous, but I am sort of like, okay, this is a real psychological barrier here. And it's going to take a bit of an oomph to be able to get over it and just break out of it. What I think we're going to see is I think we're going to just sort of like hover around this 100K area. I think we're going to go back down 95, 96, go back over 100, 101, 102. But I think this area could see some consolidation. I think there'll be people taking profit here who've been like, I'm not talking about the whole entire Bitcoin price. So I'm just saying, I think you'll see people who've been around in the bear market who are getting in at 20K, 30K will start to take some profit here. But I still think we we continue to see flows. But this is a bit of a tricky area. And this is where I'm just like, there's going to be consolidation. I think it'll be tough to break this 100 region for the next, let's say, couple of weeks. But we are still in a bullish upward trend. I'm just going off like sentiment, conversations. Kix is going to give us the whole Bollinger Bands curling and everything like that. So I'll be interested to hear your point of view, Kix, as we go into this one.
Well, that's why, Signal, I've actually been enjoying the trenches a lot, because I haven't been looking at any of my other bags, and I've just been like holding them. Like Easy told me to buy Mr. Miggles like a month ago, and I haven't even checked any of my wallets, and it went up like 6x. I'm like, fuck yeah. I haven't touched my ETH. I'm not touching my Bitcoin. I'm not touching any of my Solana out of my BullX wallet. So I'm just holding all of it. And I do think there could be swings. I'm just really confident that what we're seeing with like all of this meme coin stuff, this is like NFTs in 2021. And I think that leading into next year with with Trump coming into office, it's just a really good narrative. And I think that basically, I think that the bear case has pretty much been broken. The only thing that I don't encourage anyone to do is to look at like the monthly MACD on Bitcoin, because it's like identical to 2021. So just don't do that. And as long as you don't do that, you'll be fine. But once again, like my whole thing, like a lot of people didn't know that when I made a fat bag in 2021, I was sometimes during the whole bull cycle, I was sometimes 50% cash, 60% cash the whole time. I made my money off of NFTs, and obviously when you sell it, they would go into Ethereum. But I always had a fat bag of cash. Even right now, 25-30% of my portfolio is cash, and I miss upsides because of that. I'm never all in the market, but I think that's your cash to trade new opportunities. So I think anybody that's up big, like, dude, if you're up massive on Solana, it's at 235. Yeah, I could go to a fucking 1,000 or whatever, right? But you can take some cash on the side easily. But my strategy going forward is I'm just going to be trading meme coins like they're NFTs, and I think that's where the money can be had for sure.
Wait, but so are we talking your style early 2021? Because I remember you used to be in and out of collections like super fast. I remember you one day you're a punk, next day you're a homeless person. Like you used to change your PFPs all the time. So is that what you're doing with meme coins, or are you taking a later strategy when you then just started to hold stuff? No,
I got wrecked when I started to hold stuff. Yeah. So the whole meme coin strategy is like take profits all the way up and not like, I'm not trying to diamond hand meme coins. I never make money when I try to do that on anything pretty much.
It definitely feels like the stuff that we should have, or it's so easy to say this in Harry hindsight, but the stuff that should have been diamond handed was the stuff that was born out of the bear market. So very much your bonk, your bonks, your whiffs, your pepes. That's the stuff that should have been diamond handed, and the stuff that's new now just seems to have the lifespan of like a butterfly. It's just like it's pretty much dead within a couple of hours. I just think it's interesting to watch stuff like we'll refer back to Luce, which was not even what feels like a week ago, if not 10 days ago. That's been able to hold up. But stuff like Mudeng has sort of lost attention. It's all about where attention is going, which is very different to what Pepe, Bonk, Whiff were all born out of. It's a completely different sort of like rally of culture around different coins right now. Now it just feels like people are just here to make money on that token and get out. It's not like,
and I mean, things still run. I mean, like chill guy going to 400 million is insane. Like Cerebro going to almost 500 million in a shorter period of time. Stuff like Weifu going from like 3 to 200. And those are the type of like I'm not saying that like some things I have to be in and out in a day. I have like two different mindsets, which is on like brand new shit. Like brand new shit I'm in and out of a lot, but like stuff that's like over a couple of million and holds for a while, those things I'm willing to like trade over like a couple week periods of time. But I mean, like, for example, like pull up the Weifu chart. Let's take a look at that.
So one thing I've been doing here, Kicks, on these AI coins that have kind of dipped like amidst this TikTok meta, is I've been putting in like buy orders down on like retracement levels, because I think these do come back. I don't know.
But like, for example, like I'm just showing like right here, like, yeah, I think when the narrative swings back, this would be a good one. But like there's people top blasting this at like 150. And you're just down 50% because the narrative changed so much, right? And I just think that like the people that can stomach holding this from at 3 all the way up to 170 and not selling, and then stomach it down to 80, and then if this thing goes to 500, that's just not who I am. You know what I mean? Like I would be more than happy to buy this thing at 3 million, sell it at 90, never look at the coin again.
Yeah, I struggle with holding as well. I definitely do quicker flips.
Here's the thing. Any time that I've said, oh, this is the one I need to hold, that's every time it's been a top signal.
But it's
Yeah.
also
Almost
as
every single
well.
time. Ray, I had a quick question for you.
Yep.
What does your like sizing strategy look like when you're sizing into certain things? Like how much did you size into the Saint coin?
I put 5 SOL into the Saint coin because I had fairly high conviction on that. Generally, I'm sizing like 1 to 2 SOL on like a retrace after like an initial pump of something. If I'm buying it like pre-migration, so like you know, you do those left-hand side plays when you're getting in around like 20K, 25K. I'll throw somewhere. I'll throw either a half a SOL if it's like kind of interesting and I could see it graduating, but I'll set limit orders before graduation. If I have a little bit more conviction, I'll throw up to 1 SOL into those. But things that have graduated that I have conviction in, I'll go probably all the way up to 5 SOL.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that. That sizing. SaintAI migrating.
Yeah, and that's playing with like a bag of roughly like liquid SOL that like I'm fine losing on meme coins, like 50 to 60 SOL. So
yeah,
5 over 60 is what 1/12. So 10% into a play that I have a little bit of conviction in that if it goes to 0, it's not going to wreck me. So you always have to like take in sizes into account with like how much you're actually playing with in terms of like total bag. You don't want to be throwing your entire bag if you only have 5 SOL into something you have with conviction. I mean, some people do full port strategies, but that for me, I just think is way too risky.
Yeah, full port is a different kind of fucking degen for sure.
All right, so we have the AI Carlo here, the Saint. It's not launched on any platform that I know of.
Yeah, and it's super bundled.
Super bundled.
So like,
spun up
yeah, like once again, like one of these things. Yeah, this is really lazy basic. This is like you can create this website in 5 minutes. This is not real AI. So this will probably be a rug. But like a lot of what these people do when they heavily bundle things that are like in a strong narrative, they'll let it pump to 250 and then they just clip out and make a shit ton of money on people that buy at 250. Like one thing that I've been avoiding now is like Elon memes Elon tweets, right? Because there's basically Elon will tweet something. There'll be 4 tickers that'll come out. So it's what percentage chance are you a winner? And every single news event one is bundled. So basically what it means is that you have to be confident that basically the market can absorb the dev clipping out like 100 grand and the market absorbing it and then sending it. But once again, my motto that my buddy said, I guess there's a quote from Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, and pirates say there's no rules, only guidelines. And I think that's how you have to trade these things. So like a heavily bundled thing can still go to the fucking moon. If you pull up Saint, that could even potentially be heavily bundled out of the gate. You'd be able to see with top traders. It actually doesn't look like it was. But yeah,
get this. Like this is one that I'm going to say has a 0% chance of living it.
Yeah, I think that's very low just because the website. It's not even like a waifu one. Hey, Ray, do you know, is there like an hourly chart of Pump.Fun volume?
I think so. I'm going to pull up the Dune that I use. And then generally with Dune, you can like go into the queries and like adjust the time frame, if that makes sense. And you're looking for like volume on tokens or like token creation?
Volume on the platform by hour.
I guess you could look at like total fees essentially, because that would kind of capture like.
Yeah, and can you get that at the hourly level? Like last 24 hours. Because one thing I'm trying to figure out, right, is like you basically can print money when volume is high. So like yesterday, volume was high across the board. Like all sorts of silly TikTok stuff was just absolutely sending, right? And then last night, when I started losing money, what I noticed was like not much was migrating. Anything that was migrating, it was almost like you needed to buy dips on things. Whereas in the morning, you could top blast so many things and print money. And I think it's correlated to volume. I think the volume just really slowed down yesterday evening Eastern time. And I would love to have that, right? Because if you know volume's coming down, you really need to pull the brakes on your clicking and like be like, I'm only going to buy things that I think are really strong. Versus when volume's super hot, you can like open up your range. It's kind of like poker, right? Like if you're at a tight table and people are playing super nitty, which means they're only playing really good hands, then you have to play better hands. You have to adjust your strategy. Like if everyone's playing nitty, you can't be spewing chips all over the place, right? But if you sit down at a table and everyone's playing super aggressive, you can spew chips and make money. And so that's one thing that I'm going to try to figure out today is if there's a dashboard or something that shows like hourly volume, because I think that can help me and other people trade better too. Is if you know, like, same with NFTs, right? If NFT volume is declining, right? That's not, you don't want to be top blasting NFTs. Like you want to be buying dips and you want to be buying quality.
Gix, that was very much in line with what NFTs were like. I remember like 4 years ago, because when it was my afternoon, so you're more I used to wait for the US to wake up, and anything I had bought my morning would basically catch volume in my afternoon, which is your morning. And
Yes.
then I would miss all the West Coast activity when I was sleeping. So I had to be really cognizant of like doing exactly your strategy when you're buying into these. And it was especially on the new mints. So this would be on the new, like basically the equivalent of the trenches, the new mints when they came in, when you could basically enter and when you could basically exit. So you're like, even though you don't have the statistics to back up that thesis, it's definitely a pattern that we saw in NFTs back in the day, because that was also the whole joke of when Asia wakes up. Well, it's what you guys used to say about when Asia wakes up and they're buying your bags, and I was waiting for you guys to wake up so you could buy my bags. Basically, you're my Asia. You're my Asia. So I agree. I 100% agree on that thesis. And then I haven't done much trenches on the weekends, but for NFTs, the weekends was always as well when things would kick off. So
Yeah.
on the meme coin side of things, have you seen that happen on the weekends? Was where you see extra volume?
So people have generally said that like some of the weekends are slower. It's been so all over the place for me. Like I've been basically like I spent all weekend like in the trenches, like whenever I could, like every night from like 8 p.m. Eastern to 1 a.m. And then like during the day for a couple hours as well, like in that like 12 to 3 block on the weekends. During the weekdays, I've been like mainly like doing like 3 to 5, maybe 3 to 4. And then I'd come back on at like 8 p.m. Eastern, do like 8 to 12. It's kind of a mixed bag. Like sometimes things are really hot midday. There's like news coming out during the day, which is another thing. Like you're not going to have the news cycle and people like major outlets publishing like articles. And like a lot of the meme coin volume comes on the back of some narratives that get published in major articles. Like looking at the Saint token, this isn't something that would have happened overnight and ran. It's something that the news came out today during the day and ran. So it's really kind of like you see more news-based stuff during the day. You might see more like new launches, like just general memes or like things related to the meta at night. So it's kind of a little bit of both. I don't know what your thoughts are, Kicks, on like time of day versus like volume and like type of meme.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, definitely. It's definitely dependent on like the day of the week, 100%. But like, I definitely think like one of the like worst zones on my end is probably like 4 to 11 Eastern. It's like before like it really gets into evening in the West Coast time. And then like the West Coast nighttime like leads into morning time in Asia. And so that's why I think there's like good action then. But like 4 to 7 our time, it's like everyone in Europe's asleep, right? Everyone in China is still asleep. And so it's really just like East Coast evening, West Coast afternoon. That's like generally like the deadest times that I've seen.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the afternoon of the East Coast has been like kind of decent. I mean, it's definitely hit or miss, but
No, it's like, but I'm like, it's good. Maybe it's 5 to 10.
Right.
which isn't great. And I don't mean that there's not wins to be had. I just think that it's like yesterday from like 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern was like bananas.
I'm going to buy here. I don't know anything about this without doing research, but I just saw that there's a Saint of Dogs that just released. I haven't done any research. I don't know if he's the actual Saint of Dogs, but that feels like it
Chart
could be
doesn't look. I mean, the holders don't look bad at all.
Saint Roke, patron saint of dogs.
How's the original Saint still going?
What's going on here? Why am I keep getting filled?
It pinged off 20
And it's holding
for now.
for now. Okay, I'm not going to chase. I'm just going to keep it. Yeah, that's probably a mistake. Obviously, if I don't chase, it sends, and if I do chase, it tanks. So
See, that's smart. You would actually be very good at meme coin trading.
thank you. I'm trying. So I'm going to let everybody get rich and just I'm not chasing.
One of my
I'm
rule
recall.
signal is one of my rules is I never buy. I never rebuy into things. If I lose money on the first buy, because it generally means that like the second buy, I'm just like super emotional, right? I'm not making like a logical buy. Like I think I have like a 90% lose rate when I'm getting into something that I've already lost on, and I'm like trying to like chase it. So yeah, like there's no rules, only guidelines when you're evaluating a coin, but you do need to have hard rules when you're like on your trading side, like how much you're putting in, where you like to play. Like, for example, for a lot of people, like you may just be a huge net loser above 10 million. Because like if you're buying things over 10 million, you have to have like a mentality where you have to be able to identify things that can go from like 10 to 50 or 10 to 100 or, and that kind of volume is a way different ball game. There's some people that for example, Easy likes to trade things like 1 to 3 million up to 10, right? Because you can size in a little bit more. So you should have rules to your trading strategy, but like guidelines to evaluating things, I think is smart.
See,
Yeah,
I
'cause
prefer
saw you-
over. Sorry,
Go ahead.
Marie.
You got it.
No, I was going to say I actually prefer over 10 because I think it's easier to read the sentiment of Discords, Telegrams, X, what's happening on X. I just and also as well the one thing that I'm seeing in this cycle is that because of all the lessons learned in the previous cycle, I feel like the market is sort of like repricing where everything can go because everybody already knows what has already happened. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I feel like we're seeing such astronomical numbers because people have already learned what can happen when the market goes berserk. So people pile in later than they would have. So that people will come in at say 500 million because they know that we have now set a precedent where things can just
like Peanut went to 2 billion.
Exactly. So the market is basically pricing things even faster now and people are willing to take more risk, meaning more money comes into each individual token. So I feel like even playing the mid caps, which is somewhere like I normally wouldn't be comfortable because I wouldn't think that there'd be enough money and attention to be able to hold so many of these coins up, is actually still a really good ground to play. But as soon as things start to slow down, I think that's
super smart.
You want to get out of the mid caps as fast as possible because everybody has already learned around you how quickly money can come in, but also how quickly money can leave. So that's kind of why I'm comfortable right now because I think it's still frothy enough to keep the attention across multiple tokens.
So I have two things there. One, on the mid caps, I sold almost all those mid caps I bought from Murad yesterday. Like listening to Pia, like when it sells mid caps and Easy talking him into it, it just makes much more sense to play with like dry powder right now than to hold. I'm also looking for re-entries on many of them. They're all basically down over the last week, but they haven't really like retested like down 60% levels, down 70% levels.
Are you talking about Murad's list, Ray?
Yeah.
Specifically? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I like sold my bag and then I put in like some buy orders lower on a lot of those coins that I do like, but I think they'll continue to retrace while we see like this just like daily meta shift. Second point I wanted to bring up is because I just jumped into that coin that was like Saint Roke, patron saint of dogs. Yesterday, you made a beta play on an old coin, Kicks, that I found interesting because I'm looking at this and like when I'm looking at a coin, I also want to see if it's been done before. And I found one that was done like a couple weeks ago, basically probably with the loose meta. I saw that you bought coins, like old coins for the Joe Camel play last night, trying to hedge the older coin coming in and pumping. Like, what are your thoughts on like old coins coming back to life, fighting versus new coins that have just been released?
Well, I didn't make money doing that, so it didn't work. But like basically, what these like pumpers like to do that like pump old coins is it has to be a coin that is already migrated before, right? So then it won't get stuck in migration because they want to like full send it through wherever migration's at. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know how much that like even would have worked out because like Joe Camel died, so the hedge didn't work. But I think like that strategy is probably smarter if you're trying to hedge. If you're trying to hedge like news things like these Saint things that came out, right? So if you got in the first Saint CA and it went to 4 million, and then you see the second Saint come out, right? You should sell 50% of your bag and throw it into the other one. Like,
Yeah,
I think that kind of hedging on like there's competing coins and you don't know which one's to win, which one's going to win, but you're really bullish on the narrative. I think like stuff like that's very smart. Because it would have saved your CA bag for sure. And like other times with backed, like with back, for example, when both were pumping, saves your bags. With like the Wasabi one would have saved your bags. So I think that's a smarter hedge than what I was trying to do. I think I was getting a little silly last night because my portfolio hit all-time highs. And so I was just doing funny, silly things. And doing stupid stuff like, round tripping $2,000 profits. But yeah, Joe Camel died. Real fucking bummer, to be honest with you. Let's see where it's at, 45K. Yeah, I think it was a funny meme. But yeah, I mean, the wild thing that I've been getting better at understanding, sold 251. Holy shit, that's awesome.
Oh.
What I've been getting better at understanding is like how like these like liquidity pools work and like how thin they are, especially at the lower ranges, right? So like if a coin's at 30K in liquidity, right? The only thing it needs to double in price, if not more, is just 30K of net inflows to come in, right? That's it, right? Because 30K of net inflows doubles the liquidity pool, which is going to like double or more than double the market cap, right? So at the end of the day, all anyone is trading, this is kind of obvious, is volume, right? That's all you're trading, right? Is basically like, is the volume coming in going to be greater than the volume coming out, right? So literally on something, if over an hour you have just 60K more buys than sells, it'll triple, but also that can work in reverse, right? So something that's at 100K liquidity pool, right? Like there's a 100K in liquidity pool. If it has only 50K more sells than buys, you're going to lose 50% of your money, right? Like over time, and this is why older meme coins can do well, is over time, because of the fees that go into the liquidity pool with the trading back and forth, the liquidity pool starts to stack up a little bit more liquidity over time. And that's why these like longer term things can absorb more sell pressure, et cetera. But going back to your Murad point, I think the play is on these coins that have legs, get over a certain market cap, get over 50 or over 100. It's the same thing as Bitcoin, which is, if you've heard people say, the Tom Lee from Fundstrat or whatever, there's now a famous video where like in 2016, he's telling people that he recommends to his clients that they put 5% of their portfolio into Bitcoin and never touch it, right? And his reason as to why is he said that people will lose all of their gains if they're trying to trade in and out of this thing. They have to not touch it because Bitcoin, I think it has 90% down days, or it's something like 10% of the days is where you get all of the gains, right? I think that's the exact same thing with meme coins. It's the exact same thing with most coins in general, right? But to your point, like the Murad coins may not completely die, but you want to wait for them to retrace significantly. And then you want to buy and know that it may do nothing for months, right? But then over a 3 or 4 day period, that's when you're going to make all of your gains, right? And a lot of people are going to run into issues. Once again, this is like NFTs, where it's like PFPs are hot. Nope. Now everyone's switching over to the metaverse trades. Now everyone's in gaming. Now everyone's in art, right? And if you're chasing the trends, if you can identify the trends really early, you can make money. But for example, like I bought some waifu at 120 million, right? And I kind of thought it was early, but you have to frame yourself that this fucking coin was at 3 million 3 weeks ago, right? And it's like, am I closer to the local top than the bottom on this thing, right? Same with Mudang, right? Mudang goes to 400 million. Everyone forgets about it, goes down to 60. Then it resends, right? And I think that's really hard for human psychology because human psychology likes green candles, not red candles. I've often said that if someone can make a trading app where you turn the red candles into green and the green candles into red, people would be better traders because they would psychologically buy green candles and they wouldn't buy red candles, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so we've just been trading like a new strategy in the Bodoggos Discord lately that makes me respect dips and like kind of cheer for dips a little bit more. We're basically looking at fib retracement going down on like post migration coins. So we're seeing coins migrating that we like believe in, and we're cheering for them to go down like 70% out of the launch and then buying off that. Because a lot of these meme coins, after they graduate, they see like a 60 to 70% retracement, bounce off that line if they're good enough to stay, and then they just rock it up to wherever they're going, 5x, 10x, etc. We've been following that Discord or that strategy in the Bodoggos Discord, and like we've been hitting it like a very, very high win rate on these.
And that's super smart too, because that's going to help you avoid like bundle farms and stuff like that, where they FOMO you in, they try to get you to buy a bunch of volume. And what I've noticed time and time again with coins is that coins can pump after the dev sells all of the bundles, all of the snipers, right? So I've seen a bunch of coins, they come out of the gate out of migration, they go to 200K, and you see the bundlers just dumping, goes down to 50, and then resends again. And I'm actually seeing it more often than a couple of weeks ago. And I think part of it too is that there's like a new crop of entrants that are coming in. I think a lot of the people that have been trading Pump.Fun coins longer than me have been conditioned that like when these things die, they die. And that now that's no longer the case because there's new entrants that are trading them more like typical coins than like flashes in the pan. So buying dips, I think is hella smart. I think almost if so many coins, if you see them bounce off 100 and bounce off of 50 and they don't die, it's a great trade to be had, but it all comes back to the volume game because yeah, I'll see so many dead cat bounces on them too.
Yeah, bringing up, so like I didn't follow this advice on the show. I just like top blasted this, seeing it and getting bullish. But like I bought after migration here. Like there's two separate opportunities to get in at that retrace. So if you look at this initial pump out of migration, the 123K, it dumped, 30, 40%, almost 60% here on this first candle and then bounced. And then it did the same thing. Like I top blasted essentially up here. This retraced 50%. Like if you're buying on these green candles, like you're really, really making a bet that it's going to continue to run. Really what you want to be doing is like watching for that retrace, being patient. And then if it passes you by, it passes you by and you just miss that play.
Yeah. And you just move on.
Yeah. Essentially with this one, but.
Yeah. So, Case, going on, sorry, on your thesis then, that everything you've just said, does that mean that you would step in to say the coins on Murad's list at a lower retracement? So maybe not now, but would you be interested if they were to go lower to step in on that list, or are you keeping your focus only on the new stuff?
Well, yeah. First off, I rarely like buying things over like a couple 100 million on the meme coins. I just don't think I'm good at trading that range. But also like I would need to have like conviction in those things. Like once again, I think that those things can pump for sure. And continue to trend up. It's just like whether they're going to be like the dominant things of like the cycle. Like is Giga like a really good meme that people are going to like fall in love with? The things that I see coming out of like Pump.Fun lead me to believe that like probably the stronger cyclical narrative is AI things than those types of meme coins. And I don't even know if you can consider AI stuff meme coins really, but it's like all coming out of the meme coin shoot. But like once again, I'm fine with being completely wrong on that, right? And those things all pump and it's okay because I didn't buy them when Murad first posted them and they pumped to the moon,
Yeah, I hold some of those meme coins, not the whole list, but for the fact that his thesis was sort of made before we had this bull market uptrend, I still have confidence that they can pump. But right now, so much attention is leaving them. It feels like they can go to a much lower level, and then they would potentially have a pump next year, January, February, when the market, I think, will be most frothy in January, and it'll just be liquidity across all tokens. So that's one surprise that I think can still happen in January. And I think the second surprise will be as Bitcoin pumps, I think runes are going to take an extraordinary amount of attention that people still haven't priced in. I mean, I know runes have gone up, and obviously some people have been buying, but I still think that trade hasn't been fully like accepted by the market, that those things are going to pump simply because Daddy Bitcoin is leading everything, and then attention will have to naturally go to runes. But I think again that kind of behavior will become extremely frothy in January. And the people who were already locked in like into those positions have been in them for probably the last month, maybe even longer. So I'm excited to see what happens there. I still think there could be two big rotations to come.
Yeah, a few things following along. I do think runes get their day. I think it's just going to take time and more listings and easier accessibility. My
concern with runes is like, what are the good memes coming out of there? Like, tell me, like the number one.
No, the
meme.
old names.
No,
I
don't think there's any good memes in there. I don't think there's a single good meme.
But it's the old names.
I think they could, yeah.
Sorry, right. We're just like kind of talking over each other.
Because I want to jump on what you're saying next too.
No, I'm just going to say it's the old names, which I still think, like say the top three, which I still think have a lot of room to run. They haven't, because like right now, everyone is just looking over at like Base, Solana, like, and everyone in this space kind of like just wrote off runes as like, oh, that's the ugly thing. No one wants to go there. But we are in a meme coin super cycle. Like, I'm not going to say if, like we are, and we definitely have January to come, which I think is just when money will, like every year, January is silly money in something new, something that the market hasn't really been paying attention to. And we've done this podcast long enough, Kicks, to probably even maybe be able to get a feeling of what that is. I think it's runes this time. I think runes go silly in come January.
Yeah. I guess my point is just that, like, I feel like this is like, you know, there's like creative people and there's smart people, right? And there's some creative people, right? And there's some creative people that aren't smart, and there's some smart people that aren't creative. I feel like all of these are created by smart people that aren't creative. And I know that's bad, but it's like literally, other than Pups World Peace, Pups is actually like a good meme, right? But like Dog Go to the Moon, you know what I mean? $1 billion cat.
I'm with you.
It literally looks like someone trained an AI agent on meme coins. Like, are you asked like ChatGPT, like come up with a meme coin? You know what I mean? That's what this whole list looks like at me. Like where is like the edgy, weird, like, you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. I know. What was it? Japanese man, something with a suitcase.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Yen,
Mr. Yen. Thank you.
Yeah. Manko is the Casey Rodimer furry blog he wrote. That's an old one that came out originally. But I minted a ton of these. I'm just gonna hold them. I think we see a hated rally. I don't think like these win on memetics alone. I think that like better memes are going to be released over time as the restrictions on ticker names changes. The one thing I like about runes is that tickers are forever. You can't make a copycat without changing the name. So you can't redo any of these runes. Once the ticker symbols go down, and I think once it becomes easier with less friction to buy these, I think they're going to have their day. And I think that the thesis for some of these existing ones is that people who are already in the space are going to be pointing to these as winners. And I think capital could rotate, especially ones with like lower ticker numbers. Maybe like
I don't even think that, right? Because lower ticker numbers isn't for like how long? Because it's every 4 months, right?
Well, no, I'm saying like the first like 10 tickers launch. Oh, you're saying like lower tick every month. I think like you lose a character every couple months. You lose.
Oh, every month. Okay. Sorry, I thought it was every 4 months you lose a character.
It might be, but like you lose a character, but you could see how you can get down there pretty quickly. We're already seeing smaller and smaller tickers here. But yeah, I think it's gonna take time. I think it happens eventually, and it's something that like I'm just not touching. I'm not paying attention to until it does. I already have my bags packed, so I'm just on the flight for the foreseeable future. The second thing I wanted to talk about, you're talking about Murad, like how far do these things need to drop? I sold my lock in, and like I'm buying back at like half of the current price. So like if these Murad coins drop 50%, I'm going to be buying back in just above like that when they retrace like 70% off peaks. So I'm looking at like, yeah, like basically if any of these drop 50%, I have like buy orders in for these, and I'm looking to buy at those lower levels. Until then, I would need to see like some sort of like strength coming out of them. I'd rather just have the liquid capital to deploy into these shorter time frame swing trades, deploying to AI. Yeah, I like basically rotated out of like all the Murad plays and into AI plays. I got lucky with timing. I got into Zero Bro. I got into Goat. I got into Gaycoin a couple days ago before they kind of had a little bit of a relief rally.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of these coins, like even if you pull up like the Pepe chart, like they bottom and then they'll like sit for a period of time and like consolidate. It's not like you get these like it hits the bottom and then just goes to the fucking moon. Like look at this on like a yeah.
So like we ran up to here, and then we consolidated to like the 60% range for a bit.
Yeah, it's like, see, like you had 2 months to buy it before it sent again.
Yeah.
It's not like it pings off the bottom and then just like immediately turbo melts all-time highs. So like, yeah, I think when you're buying dips on those established coins, yeah, you have a good period of time to make that move.
Mog up 17% on the day. So I'm in all of my Murad ETH coins just because I'm not trading on ETH, and I said like I don't want to just hold liquid ETH. So luckily I caught that Mog gainer there just by pure happenstance that I just didn't want to cash out my ETH meme coins because I'm not trading actively on ETH.
What's Mog at now? Is it like 1.5 billion?
What's that?
Let's bring it up. 1.03 billion. I think it pinged off 1.1.
But how did it go up 70% in a day? Did it retrace hard?
Yeah, so it's been retracing over the last week. Like all these Murad coins I was saying, like this was at 1.1, it retraced all the way down to 789.
Oh wow. Yeah, I didn't know that happened.
It's one I added to like a couple days ago. I think I bought it.
But Mog was a bit of a lagger. When all the Murad coins were sending, Mog was like not. And everybody was like, what's going on? And then it started to send, I remember, after Luce, like probably about 4 or 5 days after Luce, it finally starting to catch up. But it's one of the ones that doing well. Yeah, all like, like everyone else, my Murad coins are down, and I'm not really sure what I would, even if they go down 50%, right? Like, are you buying the whole list again, or are there certain ones that you're like focused on to reallocate to?
I'm gonna just look at those levels, and I think I will probably like limit myself to maybe like barbell, like the ones at the very bottom and the ones at the very top. So the bottom ones for the most potential gain, looking at like USA Mini, lock in. Those are all sub 100, and then looking at the top like Giga, SPX. But I'm just sitting in SPX because, like I said, I didn't sell any of the ETH bags. Giga, SPX. I'd be looking at those top ones. So like the established winners, and then the ones that could have the most room to run. That would be my strategy. Once we start banging off those lower levels, I'd accumulate a little bit on each side, and I think I'd definitely trim it down. I stacked like most of his portfolio initially, and I think I handicapped my gains that way because there were some big winners, but there were also a number that just like didn't move. That like that money would have been better allocated towards the winners.
I like your strategy. I think it will come to fruition Jan time. So we wait for that 50% drop, and then we wait for that 100% high. Yeah, that's good. It's good. No, it's good times. It's good times for me. I mean, like I said, I'm just super excited that we have this environment. I think we've all been waiting for this for a very, very long time, and now's the time to be just like picking those fruits.
Yeah, Giga's at 400 million off a top at like 700, and like at 700, people were like, "Why is this not easily a $1 billion coin?" And like a lot of times when you hear that the constant calling for that on the timeline, it just doesn't come to play. Like that's when you have.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but like he did some sort of analysis where he was like, my favorite coins have like the least amount of unique holders because it means like the people are like diamond hands, which is like that part of the Murad thesis I thought was like the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Because like basically like what that means is like you could be in essentially a sophisticated bundle farm, right? So it just means that like a bunch of insiders own a shit ton of the fucking supply, and that's why they've allowed it to pump to the moon. But then that just means that those people are just gonna clip into you, to infinity. Like versus like Pepe. You guys remember when like Pepe crossed 100,000 unique holders? Around like I want to say it was around like 250 million or something like that, right? And like now look at it, right? Or look at Chill Guy and stuff like that. Like I think that the coins that don't have a lot of unique holders is just inherently that's bearish. It means that not a lot of people like it, or it doesn't have wide appeal.
Yeah, and then like every single holder too is like an advocate for the coin, which is like it feels like it's like counterintuitive for Murad. Like he's saying he wants Colts and he wants people to be shilling. He wants these strong communities of like diamond handlers, but like quantity is like important too. Like you need to like if you have 100, this is Chill Guy, 113,000 people chilling your bag, including like half of TikTok right now. Like that's definitely catalyst for movement. Like it surprises me that we're only where we are on this. Zoom in a little bit. Like it's surprising that we've been consolidating in this range for so long. With this many holders. The one thing that like is like tough though for me to look at when I'm looking at like, do I want to get in again? Is like look at how many people on this top traders list can just clip out for $1 million. Everybody on this list can just clip out of their entire bag of Chill Guy for $1 million, and there's only $8 million in the liquidity pool. So
yeah, and those will probably be the guys that pretend that they get hacked so they can sell.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really, really hard to like break through that kind of like supply concentration. I think that's what this shows. Like we've seen record numbers of holders, but it's also easy to it's easy to scam record numbers of holders. Like it's very easy to do. We talked about it earlier. There's an airdrop for Solana phone holders. I hit some of that in my wallet, and we look at the Grumpy ticker that was airdropped to all the Saga pre-orders. This has 136,000 holders. So how much of that Chill Guy is holders versus like somebody saying like, "How let's spin up this narrative of like all-time holders. I'm a big bag holder. Let me spend 10K to airdrop this token to whatever." I'm sure you can look on chain and figure that out. But I would just be interested to see like how the demographics break down for like holding amounts and that. Because they sent $50 worth of this to 100,000 people essentially. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
Anything else you guys want to talk about? I just looked at the clock. It's 10:20. We've been absolutely cooking here for well over an hour. Anything you guys want to end before we wrap today?
I think it was a great convo. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. As just to echo what Signal said, like we've been waiting a long time for like this kind of market, this kind of fun. And yeah, I'm excited. Like forward every single day. I think there's something new. There's stuff to go research, look for. I think like a lot of people out there, they don't like to do trend trading and stuff like that, and I think that's completely fine because I think that the market that we're in has a ton of opportunity to do other things, right? Like for example, I talked about that Anon coin, right, which is like doing a novel thing with like basically allowing like a community to like all share a communication platform, right? Like through a coin. Like I think that's like a really novel thing. Like I think if you're not interested in shitters, there's still like a lot of interesting tech like that being released, and like that stuff. If it was released a year ago, it probably wouldn't get nearly as much attention or volume or market cap as we see today. So I think like stuff like that is super cool to see, and you can play around with that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited. If you're looking to trade meme coins, buy a Bodago, buy a Nifty Portal, jump in our Discord. We're in the trenches all day. Kicks is there, Signal is there. I'm there. We're trenching. We're in the voice chat. I woke up this morning at 4:50 a.m. to my daughter crying, and I popped over to Discord.
Oh, wow.
Down, and there was like 40 people in the voice chat going. We had the Aussies overnight just continuing the trenches at 4 a.m. Eastern time. So absolutely wild to see the level of participation. So if you're interested in more trading content, if you're new to trading, if you're advanced and you want to just kind of pick our alpha, feel free to join. We're happy to answer questions. We're all very nice to newcomers. We love to explain what we're doing and what we're looking for. We're all learning together. I've learned a ton of things there. Pick up a Bodega, pick up a Nifty portal, head over to the Discord and come join us in trading. That'll do it for today's show, though. Catch us on all major podcasting platforms. Catch us on Spotify, Apple. You can catch us on YouTube, see what we're talking about in real time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another show. Have a wonderful Thursday.